Hey everyone, welcome to the top 10 list and welcome to my top 10 favorite Christian Bale movies. Yes, Christian Bale is an amazing actor and he's played in such amazing movies throughout his entire filmography so far. Yes, he's still pretty young and he's still got a lot more movies ahead of him, but as of now he's still got a lot of great movies. He's got some terrible ones, but he's got a lot of great ones, and I'm here to celebrate his great movies by giving my top 10 favorite Christian Bale movies. Alright, let's get to it. Here's my top 10 favorite Christian Bale movies, and for a top 10 list you gotta have your honorable mentions. My honorable mentions are Public Enemies, Empire of the Sun, A Midsummer Night's Dream, Rescue Dawn, and Equilibrium. All good movies, just couldn't make the top 10 list, but what did make my top 10 was my number 10. My number 10 is American Hustle. Yes, this movie is written and directed by David O. Russell, and this movie stars Christian Bale, Bradley Cooper, Jennifer Lawrence, Amy Adams, Jeremy Renner, Louis C.K., a lot of great actors, a very small performance by Robert De Niro. This movie is an interesting comedic crime movie, and I really enjoyed this movie. Some people found it very overrated. They didn't think it deserved all these Academy Awards. Hey, it didn't win any, so it doesn't matter. I actually really enjoyed this movie. I thought this was a very good movie. As much as I enjoyed Bradley Cooper and Amy Adams in the movie, I don't think they deserve their Oscar nominations. Jennifer Lawrence, most definitely. And I love Louis C.K., Jeremy Renner. I would actually prefer Jeremy Renner got a supporting actor nomination over Bradley Cooper. Bradley Cooper actually did a better performance in 2013 in another movie called Place Beyond the Pines. Christian Bale, I think, steals this whole movie. He plays the lead character, who is this guy who rips people off and stuff, and he has to work for the police and pull off this basically sort of heist kind of thing against these other criminals and stuff. Basically, what he does in the end, how he screws over Bradley Cooper's spoilers, is pretty genius. And I really love Christian Bale in this movie, and this movie itself is great. Definitely not the best David O. Russell movie, but a damn good one, with some great dark comedy, some great dramatic and crime elements, and even a decent romance between Amy Adams and Christian Bale. Jennifer Lawrence is also really great and very over the top of the movie, and she's great. And yeah, I enjoyed this movie. It's a good crime story, and my 10th favorite Christian Bale movie. Coming number 9 is The Machinist. The Machinist is just a downright disturbing, unpleasant watch, but it's very well directed, very well executed. The score is just haunting, and Christian Bale's performance is amazing. Very euphoric and very original. The way he does in this movie is just unsettling. It just shows you how insane he is and how messed up this character gets and stuff. And again, no spoilers, but the amount of weight Christian Bale had to lose to play this role, how skinny he gets, how almost deformed he looks in this movie, it's just impressive, but also unsettling. How this movie ends also is just damn right brilliant. It's so well done. The writing, the direction, and of course Christian Bale's amazing performance make The Machinist a very good watch, but also kind of a one and done sort of watch. It's very unpleasant. It's definitely a movie I can't see myself watching a lot, but it's still a great movie. Coming number 8 is The Big Short. The Big Short is so great. This movie is written and directed by Adam McKay, which actually won him his Academy Award for Adapted Screenplay. This movie is very good. Christian Bale's great, Brad Pitt, Steve Carell, Ryan Gosling, Marissa Tomei. A lot of great performances in this movie. This is about the housing market, the stock market, and how it all crashed, and it caused the recession in the early 2000s, and Christian Bale's character actually predicted it before it even happened, and a bunch of other investments and brokers and bankers also predicted it, and they all made money off of it before the stock market crashed. And yeah, this is the story of this movie about The Big Short, and basically it's a dramatic comedy. There's a lot of really funny scenes, and all the breaking the fourth walls with Ryan Gosling is really funny. This movie teaches you a lot about broking, about the stock market, about numbers and mathematics. This movie taught me a lot. That's why I found this movie fascinating. The movie also tells you how unsettling and what all these people went through in the housing market. So many people lost their jobs and their homes during the recession and stuff, and how these people made money off of it and said F you to all the banks was pretty awesome, but it does show you the dark side of it and stuff, especially how the movie ends. But this movie is so well done. How Adam McKay wrote and directed this movie was very well done. The editing is also very sharp in the movie, and Christian Bale was nominated for supporting actor. I thought Christian Bale was very good in this movie. I love Steve Carell. I thought Steve Carell actually stole the movie. I love Steve Carell. But yeah, Brad Pitt, Ryan Gosling, all great in this movie. This movie is definitely a teaching movie. This movie does teach you a lot. So I definitely recommend this movie because it's a damn good movie, but also it might teach you a thing or two about stockbroking, the stock market, mathematics, and about bankers and stuff. So definitely this movie is a very educational movie, but it's also a very entertaining movie as well. Coming number 7 is Little Women. Little Women's based off of a brilliant novel, and this movie is so great. I mentioned this in my top 10 favorite Winona Ryder movies. I love Winona Ryder in this movie. She is the lead character. She's the sister. She's the one that goes off, learns stuff, wants to become a writer and stuff, meets Gabriel Brune and stuff. I love this movie. I love the story of this family, these sisters. Basically, I love the connection of this family and the sisters, especially the sisters. I think it's Claire Danes, Kirsten Dunst, Reese Witherspoon. I think that's it. Christian Bale is in the movie as well. He plays like the neighbor. He becomes friends with the sisters. He actually eventually marries Kirsten Dunst when she gets older and stuff. I like Christian Bale's character. I think he's a very likable character. I thought they were going to do something with his character, make him this douchey character when he gets older, but no, he's actually a very likable character, a very charming character. And mostly the focus of the story is on the family, and that's what makes it so great, so delightful, and also so emotional because of what happens to a sort of sister. This is just a very delightful film, a great period piece, and just a damn great movie with great performances, and definitely one of my favorite roles Christian Bale played in, but also one of my favorite movies he played in. Coming number 6 is American Psycho. Yes, I know so many people have been waiting for me to talk about this movie. Here we go. Christian Bale is Patrick Bateman. Don't just stare at it, eat it. This movie is darkly hilarious. This movie takes almost the idea of Psycho, but makes it more modernized and makes it about this business guy who's completely self-obsessed of his body and sex and murder, and it's just downright unsettling, this movie, but it's also freaking hilarious, and Christian Bale steals every scene he's in. Reese Witherspoon's in the movie as well, but everything about this movie is Christian Bale. This is Christian Bale's movie, and he just goes batshit crazy in it, and it's just entertaining as hell. And of course, the ending is very thought-provoking and very unsettling, but this movie itself is just hilarious to watch and just unpleasant to watch. It's a great horror comedy, and Christian Bale's awesome in it. Coming number 5 is I'm Not There. I'm Not There is a great art house dramatic movie about Bob Dylan and all these actors playing him and stuff. I found this movie fascinating. How they tell the stories and how they execute it, layer it, and how they do with each different shots and stuff. The cinematography alone in this movie is fantastic, but the unique storytelling is what makes this movie interesting. Christian Bale, Tilda Swinton, Heath Ledger, and a bunch of other great actors are all in this movie. They'll give great, fresh, unique performances, especially Heath Ledger. Heath Ledger is so good in this movie. How this movie's laid out and executed and directed, it was fascinating. And again, story about Bob Dylan and stuff. The music in this movie, the score, the writing, everything about this movie, and even the pacing is done beautifully. It's a very unique and fresh idea. Some people didn't get it. Some people just didn't understand why this movie was great. But honestly, take it from me, this movie's fantastic. Coming number 4 is The Prestige. Yes, Christopher Nolan's The Prestige. There are 3 acts to a magic trick: the pledge, the turn, and then the prestige. I love this movie. I love movies about rivalry. This is one of my favorites about a rivalry, or a cat and mouse game. I love it. It's just so good. So I love Rush so much with Chris Hemsworth and Daniel Bruhl. That's a great movie about Formula One racing, about a rivalry. I love that. That's what I love about The Prestige. I love this rivalry between Angeal, Hugh Jackman's character, and Alfred Borden, Christian Bale's character. And I love that these two magicians are trying to outwit and outsmart each other to be the best magician. But there's also something about Alfred Borden's character we don't know. How he does the, what is the trick? The invisible man or something? You know, the transporting man. How does he do it? Is it a double? Does he have a twin? Is he a clone? We don't know. Find out at the ending of the movie. This movie is done so well. It actually shows you how a likable character turns into an unlikable character, and how an unlikable character turns into a likable character. It's just done beautifully. How the story is executed and how they do it in the movie is brilliant. Christian Bale, Hugh Jackman are both amazing in this movie. So, same with Rebecca Hall, Scarlett Johansson, Michael Caine, David Bowie, Andy Serkis. Everyone's amazing in this movie. I love movies about magic. I love movies about rivalry. And I love Christopher Nolan, so that's what makes this movie just excellent. Number 3 is 310 to Yuma. 310 to Yuma is one of my favorite westerns. Yes, they're gonna put them on the 310 to Yuma. This whole city's gonna burn. This movie's fantastic. I love Christian Bale in this movie. I love him in this movie as Dan. I think it's Dan, right? He's great in this movie. I also love Russell Crowe as Ben Wade. Ben Wade is fantastic. This weird anti-villain. He's a villain with this heroic quality in him. I love him. Christian Bale and Russell Crowe and how they work off each other is fantastic. This hero and villain who just respect each other. It's fantastic. The whole story is about these cowboys trying to get Ben Wade to Yuma prison. They're trying to put him on the train to 310 Yuma, and they have to get him to the city contention. But they have to deal with a lot of things on the way. They have to deal with Apache. They have to deal with Ben Wade's crew, led by Ben Foster, who is psychotic and awesome in this movie. This movie is just a great western with an amazing score, directed amazingly by James Mangold. I love this movie. I love the action. I love the drama. I love the story. And I love these two characters and the dynamics between Dan and Ben Wade, Christian Bale and Russell Crowe. They make this movie. I have no idea why none of them got nominated for an Oscar. They're both fantastic in this movie. This movie itself is one of my favorite westerns. Definitely one of my favorite Christian Bale movies. Coming number 2 is The Fighter. Yes, The Fighter is what won Christian Bale a supporting actor nomination at the Academy Awards. This won him his Academy Award. Him playing Dick Hecklin, this crackhead, used to be a boxer who's now training his brother, Mickey Ward, to be the new heavyweight champion. This movie is brilliant. I love it. How David O. Russell directed this movie was fantastic. This and Three Kings are my favorite David O. Russell movies. How Mark Wahlberg's amazing as Mickey. Amy Adams is so great. Melissa Leo's amazing. I love the story of Christian Bale. Christian Bale's story as Dick Hecklin, this crackhead, who's making this like documentary. They think it's like a comeback between, and they also talk about his backstory of him and Sugar Ray Leonard and stuff. But really, it's a documentary about drug addiction. And they don't find that out until later in the movie and stuff, and how he goes to prison and how he changes himself. His story in the movie is the more compelling, more interesting story. Even though the Irish Mickey Ward, his story is interesting too. Him trying to be the heavyweight champion, also dealing with this crazy family and stuff. Mark Wahlberg's story is great, and he's great in the movie, but Christian Bale steals this entire movie. This entire movie is fantastic. The boxing scenes, the drama, the family dynamics, and of course the performances are all amazing. I love The Fighter. It's such a great movie, and hands down my second favorite Christian Bale movie. And my number 1 favorite Christian Bale movie is, of course, The Dark Knight Trilogy. Yes, Batman Begins, Dark Knight, and The Dark Knight Rises. Yes, everyone's probably thinking, oh, Dark Knight Rises? Hey, I like The Dark Knight Rises. The Dark Knight and Batman Begins are one of my favorite superhero movies, and they're definitely better than The Dark Knight Rises, but I'll just include them all because it's a trilogy. He plays Batman. I'm not wearing hockey pads. It's not who I am underneath, but what I do that defines me. These movies are brilliant. These are the best Batman movies, all thanks to Christopher Nolan. Batman Begins was an amazing start. It was a great backstory, a perfect backstory of Bruce Wayne. How Christian Bale does a great job at Batman Begins. I love Liam Neeson as Ra's al Ghul. Alfred, Michael Caine's amazing. Katie Holmes he's not bad. Maybe Gyllenhaal's better. And The Dark Knight, one of the best superhero movies ever. My favorite superhero movie of all time. Heath Ledger's The Joker is perfection. It's a great movie. Even The Dark Knight Rises. The Dark Knight Rises has its problems, but Christian Bale's still great. I love Tom Hardy's Bane, and the story's still great. This trilogy is just one of the best superhero trilogies out there. Captain America is really close, but the Dark Knight trilogy is the best superhero trilogy, one of the best trilogies out there, and hands down the best movies Christian Bale has played in. So yeah, those are my top 10 favorite Christian Bale movies. So in the comment section below, please tell me, do you agree with this top 10 list? If not, give me your top 10 favorite Christian Bale movies. Comment below, let me know. And as always, if you like this video, please like, subscribe to this channel, and join the dark side.